Hello, everyone. Welcome on back. My name's Amanda, or you might know me as Vamp. Today, I am very blessed because I have a guest, and we're going to be talking about, as you know, one of my favorite thing, comics. I'm here with Jeff Parker, and Jeff Parker, if you are not aware, is writing a new series for Dynamite that is called Zootopia. It is obviously based on the Disney movie Zootopia, and if you haven't seen the Plus Zootopia Plus series, it's so good. Jeff also, though, is a huge comic book writer. He's been writing for Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, and also has some really cool, like, indies and I believe some self-published stuff as well that's really, really amazing. So you should definitely go check out his stuff. But hello, Jeff. How's it going?
Hey, it's great. Thank you for having me here. This is amazing.
No worries. Thank you so much for joining me and being willing to talk about this series. I'm really excited. I've really been loving actually like all of the Dynamite Disney stuff. Marvel, don't hate me, but I've kind of actually been loving it more than the Marvel stuff, to be
The
honest.
editor Nate Cosby is heading up the Disney stuff, and
Yeah.
I think he's just got a really good feel for finding creative teams that fit the properties,
Yeah,
and
100%. I think it's just also maybe something about the definitely something about the passion that the creative teams are bringing to it. It's like everything just really fits, but nothing feels like it needs to, I guess, like fit a specific mold in the same way.
hmm
That some of the other stuff that I've read that's been, Disney Comics has had that like feel to it. So with Zootopia, I want to know how does it feel to be writing a Zootopia comic? Because that is a property that is beloved by so many and is like spans so many generations as well. I just went back and watched the movie and I was like, this movie still holds up and it's almost been like a decade since it came out, which is crazy.
Yeah, when I went back and watched it, and I hadn't seen it in a couple of years, it was fresh again. It still works. Like nothing feels dated. It hasn't been that long, granted, but I was impressed. Like, you've got to really work at a story to get that kind of feel where it keeps working every time you see it, the way they did with Zootopia.
Yeah, I love that about it. I love the world too, like just how they built Zootopia and all the different regions of the city. It feels so alive. And then it also has like kind of that commentary as well, like a social commentary built into it, but it never feels forced. It feels really genuine. So that's something that I
And
love. And
that's impressive, isn't
it
it? I
it
mean, like
is. Yeah.
you literally come into Zootopia with Judy on the train,
Yes.
and it like gives you a tour of the basics of the place, so you get some sense of like what kind of environments are all in this giant continent city or whatever you consider Zootopia. And yeah, the social commentary stuff, like I keep bringing it up to people. It's like they've got some heavy stuff
They do.
underneath everything,
Yeah.
but and they don't just they get laughs out of it, but they don't play it for laughs.
No.
It's a real tightrope. They're just dancing in between the raindrops there. And they pull it all off. It's just impressive. To me, it's one of the best things Disney's done in decades.
I definitely can see that and would agree on a lot of levels. When I went back to it, I had forgotten like how good it was. And then I was just like this has intrigue, it has mystery. It's a well-crafted story where there's so many things that also come back around that are important. The characters all get some form of evolution and it's like diverse. Like we have this really fun cast of characters and even the side characters are really fun, which is
Yeah.
cool when you visit the Plus series and you get like a little bit more of the back. I love how the Plus series also ties in with the movie and it's just like, by the way, while this character wasn't on screen, this is what they were doing.
Yeah.
But that just shows you like how each character in it can really hold their own. So when it comes to this series that you're going to be doing with Dynamite, is it going to how is it going to differ, I guess, from the movie and how and the Zootopia Plus series, or like will it differ? Is it going to be very much like kind of in the same vein, or what was your approach there with that?
I have to say, I specifically avoided watching the Plus series.
Okay.
I was, I don't know why. I was just afraid it would nail down too much. Well, from what I could tell, they go back and give you some backstory on
some of the characters, the side
some of the
characters.
characters and everything. And then I felt like that wasn't what I didn't think that's what Disney wanted us to do here.
No, probably not.
So I just didn't want to get in the mode at all.
Well,
I
will there be side characters in it though? Like,
Oh
are
yeah, of
there
course.
any? Oh yeah.
There's plenty of side characters,
Oh,
and you
I'm
get to
so
see more
excited.
criminals.
More
Um,
criminals. Oh my
yeah, you get to
goodness.
see who they have to run up against a lot. And my main thing was just like all you get is that last couple of minutes of once Nick's passed the academy, and now he's an officer working with Judy. Like she's clearly his senior officer that he's the partner of,
I love that.
and they're riding around in the car and everything. And I was just like starting from that point. Like our series picks up, it could literally be that day, the next day, or a week later.
Cool. So there's no
Uh
like time skip. It's just kind of like we're just right back into it.
yeah, because why would we? It's
Yeah.
like it's like it's the one thing you can get away with in fiction, where the characters don't age. Let's just go right back to where they were,
Like it.
and so we don't have to feel like we missed anything. And now I don't know that the movie's going to do that. I suspect that's probably the approach, but no one's told me.
Right.
Um, I think their main thing with like reviewing the scripts is, if I were accidentally doing something that conflicted with the movie, they would definitely shoot that down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and surprisingly, they really haven't shot anything down. They've just given me some more tone or character notes or something, and
Oh, that's
it
good.
was it's just typical stuff. So I think I just got lucky with the story I wanted to do
That's
and our
awesome.
series of stories. So I don't know. We'll find out. I can't wait for that movie to come out. I really want to see it.
I know. I can't wait either. I think it's 2025 right now is when it's slated for. So hopefully soon we get some news. I was just thinking about this the other day and I'm like, well, if it's 2025, then like probably we might get a tease early 2025 or it
Yeah,
might be like more like summertime. I feel like if you're doing Zootopia 2, I feel like that's a summer blockbuster. I feel like that should come out in the summer, but
it's got to
we'll
be a
see.
summer movie, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's when we're going to be seeing it, but
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see when we get more news on it. So then you will there be any specific tie-ins to Zootopia 2 or I guess like you don't know right now. Like they might contact you at some point and say, "Hey, this is
Yeah, no,
happening."
and obviously I'd jump on it.
Yeah, that'd
But
be so
yeah,
fun.
at the moment, no. It's
Okay.
I think no, I can't speak for them. It seems like I think everyone assumed that there would be more Zootopia like almost right away after that movie came out.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why it didn't, but in the meantime, it's the fan base has kept building all along.
100%. The fan base is like keeping all the flames alive because
Yeah.
I think people are just so in love with it. But the good news is I feel like it's the type of film that you can wait a long time and have the sequel come out and people are still going to come back because there's
Hmm.
just so much love for it. And it, like we said, it is one of those films that when you go back and you watch it, you're like, this really holds up.
You're like,
So
all right, they're going to get Idris Elba to do the BOGO again. This is going to
I
be
can't
great.
wait.
Yeah.
I know it's the cast that they had for the first one is insane. So
Hmm.
hopefully everyone is coming back. I haven't heard that anyone isn't coming back. So yeah, and I mean, I've been really loving Idris Elba as well as Knuckles. So I'm just like loving this Idris Elba like childhood animated era for him. Like I just feel like it's so great.
I think it's a lot of fun for those actors to do voice work,
Yeah, especially
because
when you're so physical as an actor normally. It's nice to kind of just be like, this is now my only instrument that I'm using.
yeah, and they get to like do something that's pure audio, and that's good for you.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like you hear actors say that a lot. It's like they love like suddenly having this challenge of having to do everything. And of course, the animators bring a whole other level to it that suddenly brings in anything else. They can goose anything in the way they want it, and it's interesting because you can change the meaning
You can,
of the sound
100%.
if you wanted
With
to.
the animation, yes, 100%. I think it's really cool too when you, I'm also an actor, and doing voice work is really cool when you do get to see kind of like what a character looks like and like think about how that informs the voice. And when you see those things come together, it's really cool. And it can be really weird. It's like, whoa, I am like I feel like especially with Nick, with Bateman playing Nick, that is a character that I have to like remind myself that it's Jason Bateman sometimes, even though you can
Right.
very much hear his voice. He's not doing a different voice or anything, but the animation just fits his voice so well that he is Nick, like he becomes the character. And something
The
else,
funny thing is, I think they wouldn't let him do anything different. Like,
yeah, no.
I remember an interview where he said, "You want me to do more of this?" Like, no, just speak the way you speak.
They're like, nope, just be you. That's exactly what we want. That's perfect for this character. It really is, though. It fits Nick so well. And I mean, one of the things that I really love too about the animation is like a lot of the expression that they bring to it in Zootopia. I just feel like that animation and the level that they have for their faces and how they
Hmm.
react and interact, like you can read a thought on those animals' minds, which is
Right.
crazy. Is there something particularly in the comic that, as you've been working on it, like any art that's come across your desk or any specific character moments that have really stood out for you so far working on it?
Alessandro Ranaldi, the artist who's
Yes.
somehow doing the work of 100 people, he you can tell he's studied the movie pretty hard. And I'll put in my descriptions like Nick is doing this or whatever. I'll say something about their how they're feeling or like but you don't really have to tell him. He gets right away that he and Judy have this sort of little chemistry banter that they do.
Hmm.
That's I think what works so well in the movie, that they were both kind of constantly poking each other,
Yeah.
and not in a mean way, but in a fun way.
Yeah, it's
And
out of
even,
love
even
for each other, really.
yeah, even when they were kind of like at odds at the beginning, they were still sort of, they were still doing a kind of friendly, like little zingers, and they just keep that up the whole time. And Alessandro certainly gets that. So because I get tired of, I'm not going to like name other properties or whatever where the character's giving the other character a zinger that's insulting and blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
the I the the style of the Zootopia, the camaraderie and everything, I think is one of the things that separates it. Because even when they're kind of being mean to each other, you can tell they admire each other. And even with like somebody like Bogo, who's clearly like just not going to dial it back ever,
Yeah.
like he likes them, is even though he doesn't quite get them. And
Yeah. I mean, he's
he's
got to
like,
be this authority figure. So it's hard. It's like even when you care about the people that, are working with you, and obviously he clearly respects everyone, but at the same time he's like, "Look, I'm the boss here. It is what it
yeah,
is."
yeah, he's very used to being the boss. He's never
Yeah.
not going to be.
He's a very no nonsense kind of guy for most of the time, I would
Yeah,
say.
he has to order a big bunch of rhinos and elephants around. And he's going to be a big tough guy.
Yeah, you got to be a tough guy to do that, I think. And he is one of the toughest out there. Do you have a favorite character, by the way, from Zootopia?
Um, let's see. Well, Bogo, he's way up there.
Bogo's pretty great, honestly.
If not him. Trying to think, like it's hard because it just changes on me all the time. Like I'll suddenly just get enamored. Like sometimes, like I'll just sit there and think that Yax is one of the better characters just because the way that he's actually the one who can remember things, and like when he's uh
He's so funny. He's like one of the funniest parts in that movie.
yeah, it's his whole routine is great. And when Judy starts realizing that he's giving them
The
all
evidence
the
and all the
facts,
clues. Yeah.
and
She's
she's like
like,
starting to like,
wait
get
a
it all
minute.
down. That's it's a funny bit, and that they pulled off that whole bit of them going to a nudist colony. you know?
That is so the fact that they were able to put that in there and just let it be and also still have it feel so authentic to the experience of Judy coming in and being like, what,
She's
where
so
are we?
mortified.
She's so like horrified by this. But it's really just like for us, we're just watching it and we're like, well, I mean, they're just animals. So I mean, that seems fine. So that it's a perfect like we were saying, it's that perfect balance really of the comedy of it, but also the genuine that's what makes the comedy pop in the movie, honestly. It's
Yeah.
because everyone's really genuinely in that moment of like being mortified, but what we're seeing on the screen obviously is totally different for our experience. So to us, it's hilarious that she's so mortified because we're just
Yeah,
like, those
she's
are
hiding her
animals.
face. Nick's sitting there just enjoying himself because she's so miserable.
Yeah, because of
And
her reaction.
the viewpoint, camera keeps zooming in like like they're just showing the most naughty thing possible when they're just showing an animal.
An animal, yeah. So is Yax going to be in the series as well?
Yax does make a quick appearance in one of the issues.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I just felt like,
Um,
oh, he's got to get back in there.
yeah, he's definitely got to get back in there. So when it came to Zootopia as well as a book, did you get to pick this book or how does that work at Dynamite for the
Uh,
series?
Sorta. Nate showed me. He showed me. I forget 2 or 3 things he was about to get started on,
Hmm.
and he was kind of letting me. I have a feeling he just wanted me to pick it anyway, but like
Right.
he's like, well, we have these, and I said my eye went zoop, and I was like, is anybody doing Zootopia? Can I do Zootopia? And he was like, that's what I was hoping you would say,
And he
and
was like,
because I'm
perfect.
pretty sure he and I had talked about it before, like we were fans
Mm,
of the movie.
nice.
Um, and we had just been working on the Negaduck book, where the evil opposite of Darkwing Duck,
Yeah.
and which is totally very different, even though it does have animal people in it. But and of course the rules there are very different. Like there's only mammals in Zootopia.
Yes.
Everything else, as far as I know, is a normal version of an animal. Like if they saw a lizard running around or something like that. Maybe I'm kind of hoping they'll get into that in the second movie.
Yeah,
Just
like what is that in the world or like how does that work? Is there something else going on there that we don't know about? I
yeah.
agree. Because I
Uh,
mean, that's the cool thing about Zootopia. There's so much to explore. Like you could really do so much with it. That's why I feel like so many people have felt so starved for the content because we're like, but there's a whole thing. We need more Zootopia.
the way I saw it, as soon as the first time I watched it, what I would assume to me they were doing, what it appeared to me they were doing rather, uh, was the classic kind of over the years, cartoonists have made a lot of jokes like you've seen in Mad Magazine, like what if Disney animals met real animals?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens in the movie,
Yeah.
when the others kind of go feral and they're running into like, Emmett Otter when he's in killing mode and all that sort of thing. And it's like, oh, this is what they're doing. Like it's like here's the animal wearing a tie being chased by the naked animal that wants to kill him.
Yeah, that's like a real animal. And also I love that Emmett actually is even a reference, I think,
He's a jug
to the
band character.
Muppets. Yeah, yeah, sorry. Who does the Muppets? What am I talking about? Yeah, the Jugman character. Who does that? Who's the puppeteer? Why can't I think of his name right now? Jim Henson.
Jim Henson.
Yeah, Jim Henson. And there are a few references actually in the movie that are kind of like little references to other things. Do you guys have anything like that in the series?
I feel like if I say I do, then they're going to look
Mm.
extra hard to try to pull, try to.
So you're not gonna say you do, but you're not gonna say you don't.
There's nothing like that in
Yeah,
our
okay,
books. I'm
okay,
not.
okay.
I'm not like some super Disney nerd who could slide anything by anybody. Um,
Don't
yeah.
worry, I
So
won't get my microscope out and like just
I'll
be like
send you a
looking at
message
every.
later.
Yeah,
Like,
all right, sounds good.
hey, look on page 7.
Look, there's a little
Um,
secret. That's cool. Yeah, I really
it's
like.
probably they probably want to dial it back though because the temptation there to do it a lot.
You could
Uh,
go overboard with it, but that's the thing I
yeah,
like. It's a good balance. They don't do it too much. There's just like a few here and there for people that like no. It's like a
Yeah.
little wink, but
They very subtly slide them in. They're practically
yeah,
Easter eggs.
exactly.
Um,
I love an Easter egg. I mean, I am a person that is on YouTube, so obviously, as
yeah,
a
it's your
YouTube
whole thing. Yeah.
reviewer, yeah, we love our Easter eggs. We can't resist us nerds on YouTube. When it comes to Zootopia as well, it's kind of cool that it's a murder mystery. And is that also kind of what you're going to be approaching this series with?
Yeah, I'm going with a different type of mystery.
Ooh.
Um,
But it's going to
yeah,
be mysterious.
yeah, it's definitely mysterious.
Ooh,
It's definitely confounding to the characters. And
I love that.
so there's lots of little stories going on that all kind of gel into a bigger overarching story. Um,
Yes.
but I decided to murder is not off the table as a possible threat. That is something they
Hmm.
have to worry about.
Yeah.
Because they've clearly established the stakes in Zootopia. Like things, people
Things
can
get
get very hurt.
scary. Yeah, people get very hurt. Things get scary. People's lives are on the lines. But I love that they never go too far with it. So it's still within the parameters of like you can watch it with a kid of like any age and everything works
Yeah,
out in the end and like no one really is hurt to a level that like no one ends up being killed that I saw on screen or anything like that. So,
it's a really
but the
fine
stakes are
walk,
there.
but
Yeah.
it's a really interesting little dance they do because you open the movie with little Judy doing her play and they're doing the I get shot and then she does the ribbon of blood
Yeah.
and everything and then they repeat it with the whole berries thing at the end
Yep.
and when the mayor is trying to shoot them. Oh, that's one. I wanted to say one of my favorite characters in the movie is the J.K. Simmons mayor, the lion.
Yes, the lion. He's so great.
I just thought he was a great character. I hope they bring him back.
I hope they bring him back too. I want to know what happens next for him because he
Because
was
he was
lost
still
his
kind of being
position.
fun in jail,
Yeah.
like he's still kind of treating everything like he's the mayor, even though he's locked up.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna run again. That's what I think. I could see
Yeah,
him trying to do it. I could see him even winning, honestly. He's got so much charisma because he's J.K. Simmons. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's a good different type of J.K. Simmons role, which I appreciate.
Yeah. So when it comes to this series, it being a mystery, does it remind you of anything else that you've done before? Is there anything that you feel like you've already written that you're like drawing from it all, or is this really like something completely different, would you
No,
say?
I think it's completely different.
Cool.
Interestingly, what it reminds me of on a much cleaner scale, it'd be you ever read Black Sad before?
No, I haven't read that.
Anyway, it's a European bande dessinée and
Ooh.
drawn by Juanjo Garnido and God, I'm blanking on the writer's name right now. But anyway, it's noir fiction, murder mystery fiction, usually set like roughly around it's they hover between the 40s 50s
Oh,
and
that sounds awesome.
it's really good, but it's got stuff that's like way heavier than this. It's definitely not Disney material.
Right, right.
Um,
But
but
similar like kind of tonally, would you say, or in terms of
it's
like,
the fact that it's animal people and 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 the whole thing of solving crimes or whatever. It's just it makes me feel like it's all on a spectrum.
right, right.
Um, I don't know. I like that a lot. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It feels different because I haven't done much in the way of like that you could call a police procedural.
Right, right.
Um,
That's the thing that I like about it too, because it's kind of like you could just keep going with it. Like I think it's really good for like an ongoing series because
yeah. And it seems to
you're not gonna
me
have to
kind of
stop.
obvious that it seems to me obvious that Nick and Judy would eventually just become detectives.
Yes, yeah. Well, because I mean they have all of
They're
the
doing it the whole
skills.
time.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, they're basically detectives. They're like the detectives that you put on the case that's unsolvable. That's what I feel like they're gonna become, like these detectives that like there's no case they can't solve. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Um,
I am kind of sticking with the thing of the movie that like no matter what Bogo tries to put them on, like they find more than they thought was there and it
mm,
still keeps coming up like, they turn up a mystery because they can't help it. They are natural born detectives, both of them,
Yeah.
and their strengths complement each other perfectly.
Yeah.
Like Nick thinks more like a criminal, he's from that griftery world or whatever, and she's got the tenacity and just constantly like playing chess in her head,
Yeah.
of the way she thinks.
Yeah, Judy's very resourceful and she never gives up.
She
That's why I
does,
think
she
she's
never
one of
gives
my
up.
favorite
She's like,
characters from Zootopia because I love that she's just like, no one can keep me down. I'm gonna do whatever I set my heart out to do.
yeah, she gets down for like a minute.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
like,
that's it. And then she has to get back up again. She pulls herself right back up and goes like, "No, I'm not gonna wallow. I'm not gonna let this defeat me. There's got to be a way. Where there's
and
a
I love the
will,
way
there's
the
a
movie
way."
would do things like, she goes all the way back home and is selling carrots before she kind of finds out the key that she needed to know back in the city.
Yeah, with the
Like,
night howlers. It's
yeah,
it's interesting too how it kind of plays with that idea of sometimes in order to like figure out something about yourself or about something, new, you have to go home sometimes. You kind of got to go back sometimes to go forward. And I
yeah,
love
you
that as
have
a
to
theme.
step away from it.
Yeah,
And and that's what she does, and it works perfectly.
it does. And then I love that when she's given that opportunity, she doesn't just say, "Nah, I'm here now, so whatever." She can't give up. So she's like, "Well, I guess I have to go back like right now and
Yeah,
resolve it." Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm
just
really excited to
immediately
read
back
it.
there. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm really excited to read it and see where you go with it. I love the idea that it's going to be sort of these smaller stories that all kind of come together as one big thing. I love stories like that. Those are my
yeah,
favorites to read, so I cannot wait
yeah.
to check it
So
out.
this we were hoping that this way somebody could, if say they come across like issue 5 or something like that,
They can just jump in.
they can read it and enjoy it, and then they realize there's more going on, and then maybe they'll go hunt down the other issues and read it in order. I like stuff like that where you're just not confused starting out.
Me too. I'm also a big what is the word that I'm thinking of here? I'm a big believer in this idea of when you go to a shop, a lot of times people will ask me because they're new to comics and they're just getting into it and they say, like, what do I do? Like, how do I get into this? And I'm just like, you should just be able to see a cover that you like, grab that. It doesn't matter what the number is on it. And all comics, especially in the modern day, we have these pages, you have your little splash that's like, this is what's going on.
Hmm.
And you should just be able to jump in. Those are the best stories, I think. And I mean, they are
Yeah.
serial stories. So I love that you're building something that's going to be super accessible for people and they can just start at issue number 1 or start at issue number 6. And, you can always go back and there will be trades hopefully as well. So
Oh yeah.
you could come in much later and then go back and grab all the trades if you
Yeah,
want.
really for this, the movie is the only source material you even need.
Yeah,
I don't even know if you need it, but you should watch it. And then because you're just gonna
you're
it'll
gonna
lead
love
right
it.
into it. It's like it'll make perfect sense.
Great,
And what
awesome.
you're just gonna watch some bad movie instead. Just watch Zootopia.
Yeah, yeah, just don't watch the bad movie and just watch Zootopia,
Yeah.
honestly. Honestly. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for taking some time to chat with me about it. I can't wait to check it out. I will definitely also be reviewing it. It's going to be coming out in January. So everyone, keep your eyes open in your shop. Add it to your pull list now. Get in on the ground floor, and I will be back to talk about it more. I actually want to do a whole video where I just talk about Dynamite and Disney and like do sort of a discussion about some of my favorite comics. So stay
No,
tuned for
that'd be
that.
good.
Yeah, that'll be fun. All right. Well, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
if people want to find you, Jeff, is there anywhere they can go to find you? Or is there any other projects that you have coming up that you want to let people know about?
Yes. My website is jeffparkerwrites.com.
Awesome.
I post on Blue Sky all the time, just as Jeff Parker with a J. It's pretty easy to find me. Um, my icon on there right now is Cornelius from the Planet of the Apes with sunglasses on, if
Nice.
that means anything. I may change it to a Zootopia thing in January.
We'll see.
And currently in shops right now, I am writing the DC Christmas miniseries that's coming out every week, where it's Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night Returns, and so you get to see Santa, our Norse demigod style Santa, helping the Justice League fight this weird medieval threat.
Oh, that's
So
so awesome.
and it's fun because like it just came out yesterday, the second one, and every week up through Christmas you'll get a new issue, and it's kind of like the version of doing stage as opposed to having to wait every month to see
Yeah.
what people think about a comic, you know?
I love a holiday series too. I was saw that you
Yeah.
were doing that one and I was like, I need to go back and like get that for the holidays because I do not have enough holiday comics like on my pull this year. So
Yeah,
that is something.
they did a trade of our last year's four issue series.
Hmm.
So you can read how they meet him, and
Hmm.
it's like what it's like. How does Batman know Santa? So you can just read that, and then it leads into this and has callbacks and stuff. But you
Cute.
could just also just read this. You don't need to
Sweet.
have read that. It'll well, again. I'm trying to be accessible, like you said.
Yeah, I love that. No, I'll probably read both, honestly. I mean, I do not have like I really do not have enough holiday comics right now and I'm like, what's going on? I need more Christmas comics in my life. I'm
Yeah.
feeling festive, so I need to get
Oh,
into it.
good.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I will have those links as well for y'all down in the comments below so you can follow Jeff and also check out what he's doing on his website. We'll see you next time. And until then, friends, stay nerdy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.